One, the weight we carry. There comes a moment, somewhere after 60, when we begin to look around and realize how much we've been carrying. Boxes of old letters, drawers full of things we no longer use, and more quietly, the invisible weights, the regrets, the what-ifs, the memories that sit in the corners of our minds. We tell ourselves we've learned to live with them, that they're part of who we are, but deep down something whispers, maybe it's time to let go. Letting go, it sounds simple, but it rarely is. For many, it feels like loss. To let go of something, even pain, means to release what's been familiar for decades. It means facing the quiet, the space that's left behind. Yet it is within that space that peace begins to grow. Why? Letting go feels so hard. Psychologists often describe aging as a process of integration. It's not just about accepting wrinkles or slowing steps. It's about reconciling the life we imagine with the life we actually lived. The hardest part of that reconciliation isn't physical, it's emotional. Many older adults carry years of unspoken guilt for not being the perfect parent, for choices that led to unexpected places, for the people they loved and lost along the way. These memories can resurface in quiet hours, in the middle of the night when the house is silent and the heart remembers. Letting go means meeting those memories with compassion, not judgment. It means saying, yes, that happened, but I am still here, and I am still becoming. The psychological shift researchers at Harvard's study of adult development, one of the longest studies on happiness, found that emotional flexibility becomes a key predictor of well-being in later life. Those who can adapt, forgive, and let go of bitterness tend to live longer, healthier, and more content lives. In other words, peace is not a coincidence. It's a practice. Letting go doesn't erase the past. It redefines our relationship with it. It turns what happened to me into what shaped me. And that shift, that gentle turning of perspective, is where freedom begins, a story of quiet release. There's a woman in her 70s named Ellen. She keeps a small home in Oregon, surrounded by lavender and the soft hum of the countryside. Every spring, she chooses one thing to let go of, not just objects, but feelings. Last year, it was a box of photographs she'd kept since her husband passed away. She didn't throw them out. She gave them to her grandchildren. She said she wanted the next generation to remember love, not loss. And as she told her story, her eyes softened, not with sadness, but with release. It's strange, she said. When you let go of what hurts, you make room for what heals. That's the art of letting go. It's not about forgetting. It's about making space for peace, for new meaning, for life as it is now. And maybe that's what aging truly teaches us, how to carry less and feel more. How to live not by holding tighter, but by opening our hands. 2. The emotional layers of letting go. When people talk about letting go, it often sounds like a single decision, a switch we can flip, a thought we can choose. But in truth, letting go happens in layers. It's not one act, but a slow unwinding of what the heart has been holding for a lifetime. We don't simply release our past, we revisit it. We walk through it carefully, touch old memories, and decide which ones still belong with us. That's why the process feels emotional. It's not weakness, it's the work of healing. The mind's need for control. In psychology, there's a simple truth: the mind loves control. We hold on to things, people, habits, even pain, because they give us a sense of stability. When life feels unpredictable, our memories and attachments become anchors. But after 60, those anchors can start to feel heavy. We've spent decades building, worrying, planning, and suddenly we're asked to trust that it's okay to loosen our grip. It's hard because control has always meant safety. Letting go doesn't mean losing safety. It means discovering a new kind. One that comes not from control, but from acceptance. When we learn to sit quietly with what is not what we wish it were, we begin to find peace that control could never give. The emotional baggage we don't see many people in later life carry invisible burdens. Some are obvious: grief, disappointment, or strained relationships. But others are subtle. The belief that we must always be strong, that showing sadness is weakness, that slowing down means fading away. These unspoken beliefs shape how we age. They make us hold tighter, fear change, or resist asking for help. But when we start to recognize these patterns, when we can say, I don't need to carry this anymore, something inside begins to relax. We sleep better, we breathe easier, we start to see joy again in the simple moments. A walk at sunset, a cup of tea, the sound of laughter, letting go of expectations. One of the hardest things to release is expectation of ourselves, of others, of life itself. In our younger years, we build a picture of how things should be. But with time, life paints its own portrait, and it rarely matches the one we imagined. And learning to let go of expectation doesn't mean giving up. It means finding peace in what is real. Ned teaches us that life isn't meant to be controlled. It's meant to be experienced. We stop asking, why didn't this happen for me? And start asking, what can I learn from what did? That small shift from resistance to acceptance is where peace takes root, healing through understanding. Psychologists call it emotional reframing, the ability to reinterpret painful experiences in ways that bring growth instead of bitterness. It's not about pretending everything was fine. It's about seeing that even in hardship, we learn something valuable. Every loss teaches us tenderness. Every mistake, humility. Every ending, a new kind of strength. And when we finally begin to see our past through that lens, we realize that letting go doesn't erase who we are. It reveals who we've become, the gift beneath the grief. In her 70s, Ellen, the woman from our earlier story, once said, I thought letting go meant losing what mattered, but it's the opposite. Letting go helped me see what really mattered all along. Her words echo the truth many discover later in life. Peace isn't found by holding tighter. It's found by trusting that what's meant to stay will stay, and what's meant to leave was never ours to control. 3. The freedom of acceptance. There's a quiet power that comes when we stop fighting life, when we stop asking it to be something other than what it is. That power is called acceptance. For many, the idea of acceptance sounds like surrender, but in truth, it's liberation. It's not giving up, it's giving in to reality, to change, to the natural rhythm of things. And in aging, this freedom becomes one of life's greatest gifts. Acceptance versus resistance. Think of a tree in winter. It doesn't cling to its leaves. It lets them fall, trusting that spring will come again. That is acceptance. Resistance, on the other hand, is what makes aging painful. It's the voice that says, I wish I still looked like I did at 40. Or, if only things hadn't changed. When we resist, we suffer twice, once for what's gone and again for refusing to let it go. Acceptance doesn't mean you stop caring, it means you stop struggling. It's the moment you look in the mirror and instead of seeing loss, you see a story, a lifetime written on your skin. The psychology of acceptance. Modern psychology calls this radical acceptance, the practice of acknowledging life as it is without judgment. It doesn't deny pain, it simply says, this is happening. I can meet it with peace. Studies show that older adults who practice emotional acceptance experience less stress, better sleep, and a greater sense of purpose. Their minds are lighter because they no longer spend energy rewriting what cannot be rewritten. Acceptance allows us to redirect that energy into love, gratitude, and presence. It's what turns aging from something to fear into something to cherish. Finding peace in the present. After 60, time begins to feel different. The years ahead may seem shorter, but the moments themselves grow richer. When we stop chasing the past or worrying about what's next, we begin to truly live here. It's in the quiet mornings with a cup of coffee, the laughter shared with an old friend, the way sunlight spills across the kitchen table, that peace reveals itself. Letting go isn't always an event. Sometimes it's a daily choice. A choice to wake up, breathe deeply, and say, today I will not carry what no longer serves me. Acceptance in relationships. Letting go also means accepting the people we love as they are. As parents, friends, or partners, we often hold expectations. How they should act, how they should love, how they should stay close. But people change just as we do. When we allow them the freedom to be themselves, we gift ourselves the same freedom. We stop replaying old conversations, stop trying to fix what time has already softened. Sometimes peace doesn't come from resolution, it comes from release. We may never get the perfect apology or the ending we hope for, but we can still choose to close the story with grace. The paradox of letting go. Here's the beautiful paradox. When we stop clinging, we don't lose. We gain. We gain space, lightness, calm. We gain a truer connection with ourselves and with life itself. Aging, at its heart, is not a countdown. It's a return to simplicity, to presence, to peace, and the art of letting go. It's not about forgetting the past. It's about making peace with it so we can walk lighter into the future. A thought to keep peace, someone once said, is not when life is perfect. It's when you no longer need it to be. Letting go is the doorway to that peace. And maybe, just maybe, that's what the later years are really for. Not to cling, but to be free. 4. Living lightly, the daily practice of letting go. Letting go isn't a one-time event. It's a way of living. It's a daily practice that touches how we think, what we keep, and how we move through the world. And just like any art form, it takes patience, awareness, and love. The more we practice, the lighter we become. Not because life gets easier, but because we stop fighting against what already is. 1. Decluttering the mind. Our thoughts can be the heaviest things we carry. Worries, memories, and imagined conversations pile up like boxes in an attic. And just like clutter in a room, mental clutter steals space from peace. Each morning, take a few minutes to breathe, deeply, slowly. As you exhale, imagine setting down one thought that no longer serves you. Maybe it's a regret from years ago or a worry about something beyond your control. With every breath, you create a little more room for calm. That's how letting go begins. Not with force, but with breath. 2. Simplifying possessions. There's a quiet truth that many discover later in life. The less we own, the more peace we feel. Objects can hold stories, and sometimes those stories are heavy. An old gift from someone we no longer speak to. A closet full of clothes that remind us of who we used to be. Simplifying doesn't mean erasing history. It means keeping only what carries love forward. Each item you let go of is a conversation with the past, a way of saying, thank you for your time in my life. I'm ready to move on. The goal isn't an empty home. It's a home that breathes. 3. Releasing the need to be right. One of the hardest things to let go of, even after 60, is the need to be right. It hides in our conversations, our opinions, our memories. But peace rarely lives where pride does. Letting go of being right doesn't mean silencing your truth. It means recognizing that peace is worth more than winning. Sometimes the most powerful words we can say are simply, I see your point. And in that moment, something inside us softens. We stop fighting battles that don't matter and start building bridges that do. 4. Forgiveness as a daily ritual. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. It isn't about saying that what happened was okay. It's about choosing not to let pain keep running your life. Every morning, whisper quietly, I forgive myself and others. You don't have to feel it yet. Just saying it plants the seed. Over time, forgiveness grows like sunlight in a dark room, softly, steadily, until it fills your heart with light again. 5. Embracing change. Aging itself is an act of letting go, of youth, of certainty, of control, but it also gives us something far more precious, perspective. Change no longer has to be frightening. It can be freeing. The more we accept the impermanence of things, seasons, people, moments, the more beauty we find in what remains. Every sunset reminds us, endings can be beautiful too. 6. Living with intention. When you start letting go of what doesn't matter, you finally see what does. That's when life becomes intentional. Maybe it's calling an old friend, taking that walk you've been meaning to, or simply sitting quietly by the window, watching the world move gently outside. Letting go isn't about having less. It's about feeling more. It's the art of making space for what truly nourishes the heart. 7. Gratitude. The final layer of release. Gratitude is the gentle end of letting go. When we can thank the past, not resent it, we are finally free. Thank your younger self for trying. Thank the hard years for teaching. Thank the people who left for making room for those who stayed. Gratitude turns endings into openings. It transforms what we've lost into what we've gained. Wisdom, resilience, compassion, peace, living lightly. So much of peace in aging comes down to this: holding life like an open hand. The more we try to grip it, the faster it slips away. But when we open our palms, in trust, in gratitude, in surrender, life finds its way back to us in the most unexpected, beautiful forms. Letting go is not losing control. It's finding a gentler way to live. 5. The peace that remains when we've let go of what no longer serves us. The clutter, the weight of old memories, the need to control. What remains is not emptiness. It's peace, a kind of quiet that doesn't need noise to feel alive. 1. The stillness after the storm. There's a certain kind of stillness that comes only after years of holding on. It's not silence, it's serenity, the kind that wraps itself around a person like a warm blanket on a cool December morning. For many in their 60s and beyond, this peace feels like coming home, not to a place, but to themselves. The worries that once seemed unbearable now drift by like clouds. The disappointments that used to sting soften into gentle lessons. Even the faces of those we've lost return not with pain, but with quiet love. This is the gift of letting go. When you stop clinging, what's meant for you finds its way back, effortlessly. 2. The wisdom of enough. For decades, life might have been about more goals, more plans, more doing. But somewhere past 60, the heart begins to whisper, enough. Enough striving, enough comparing, enough proving. And that enough doesn't mean giving up. It means waking up. It means realizing that peace doesn't come from adding, but from appreciating what already is. The morning coffee, the laughter of a grandchild, the familiar creak of the front steps as you step outside to greet the day. In the quiet rhythm of daily life, the soul finds its rest. 3. The healing power of acceptance. Letting go isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about accepting that not everything will be. And yet, life can still be beautiful. The aches in the knees, the lines on the face, the slower pace, they're not losses. They're reminders that we've lived. Every wrinkle holds a story. Every scar hides a survival. Every goodbye taught us something about love. Acceptance is where healing begins. Not in denying pain, but in allowing peace to sit beside it. 4. Rediscovering joy in simple things. When we finally stop chasing, joy finds us in small, unremarkable places. In the smell of bread baking, in the sunlight streaming through a curtain, in the way music from another decade suddenly fills the room and takes us somewhere tender. Letting go allows joy to become gentle again, not loud or fleeting, but steady, quiet, enduring. It's no longer about excitement. It's about contentment, the kind that doesn't need applause to feel alive. 5. The freedom of forgiveness. In the twilight of life, forgiveness becomes freedom. Not for the ones who hurt us, but for ourselves. When we forgive, we untie the knots around our hearts. We stop carrying other people's mistakes as if they were our own. And in that moment, when the heart finally breathes again, we discover that peace was never something to be found. It was something to be uncovered beneath the noise of resentment. 6. The legacy of letting go. There's a quiet kind of legacy that doesn't show up in bank accounts or family albums. It's the peace others feel when they're near you. It's the way your calm becomes contagious. It's the look in your eyes that says, I've lived, I've loved, and I'm still here, lighter than ever. Letting go doesn't erase your story, it refines it. It turns life into something soft enough to touch and strong enough to share. 7. The gentle truth. In the end, aging isn't about losing youth. It's about gaining clarity. The people who find peace in their later years aren't the ones who have it all figured out. They're the ones who've learned that not everything needs to be. They no longer chase, they cherish. They no longer demand, they appreciate. And in doing so, they discover something beautiful. Peace was never outside of them. It was there all along, waiting beneath the layers of holding on. So if you're listening tonight and feel the weight of what you can't change, take a breath. Maybe you don't need to fix anything. Maybe you just need to release it. Let the past be the past. Let life move the way it wants to. And trust that what's meant for you will always find you in its own quiet, perfect time. Because peace, after all, isn't what happens after we let go. It's what remains when we do.